Hello and welcome to the Miraculous Lightworkers channel, your go-to place for all things about lightworkers and enlightenment. Today I'm going to be reading from the Daily Meditations for Practicing the Course by Karen Casey. That's available at Amazon.com if anybody wants to pick up a copy. Today's entry is for October 18th and it's about choice. The opening statement says, "The world we choose to see costs us our peacefulness. It seems improbable that we'd conjure up scenes of famine and destruction by choice. Yet that's what we're told as students of the Course. Are we to ignore the devastation and the violence we see everywhere, burying our heads in the sand? It may seem so when we first get involved with these teachings, but that's missing the point. The Course merely says, we see what the ego creates. If we want to see something else, we can. When we choose the perspective of the Holy Spirit, we'll create scenes of love." This sounds simplistic. However, we have little familiarity with relying on the Holy Spirit rather than the ego for our perspective. Most of us didn't even know both options existed until recently. We can't be expected to change instantly how we see the world around us. Still, to practice choosing peace-filled scenes can't hurt us. It's certainly worth the effort to have a different experience of one's life. Closing affirmation says, "My eyes will see what I desire today." So this is a really one of those kind of readings where a lot of people would just be scratching their head about it if they never read the text, because it's very deep into this concept of how we have a world where things are happening and we can't just ignore what's occurring. We have to find a way to affect what is sort of in our circle of influence, first and foremost. Then you can move outside of that. But straight out the gate, it's really hard, living in a city, for instance, to just be cruising along and not acknowledge the many things you're going to see along the way that are a testament to what the ego has created. A lot of sorrow and things that they're not what you've created for yourself in your reality, but you can't ignore them. They're in your reality. And it is something that other egos did create, not God's creation. God didn't do that, right? He didn't deprive anybody of anything. He just allows us the free will, and our egos sort of take control and create without mindfulness. And then, on top of that, fail to see how we're responsible for it. So it's sort of a double whammy. So it's not about ignoring the devastation and violence and things that you see. It's not about burying your head in the sand. It's talking about trying to move beyond your prescription, your ego's prescription of the world that you have formulated in front of you, because you'll go out and you'll see things, and what you're seeing is a testament to what you've seen in the past. And so if you see something bad happening, you're going to go back to every single time in the past that you've seen something similar, and you're trying to formulate a concept around that when it's not in fact the wholeness of the situation at all. But because you have experience with things that are similar, you're going to want to, break it down to a bite-size sort of idea, you know what I mean? So that you can easily look at it and get through it. But there's potentiality in the situation that your ego will not acknowledge. There's opportunities there many times for us to be miracle makers, creators of peace and harmony in our environment, but we won't see it like that depending on our paradigm usually. This is where it's talking about you need to use your opportunity of free will, your choice, to choose who you want to be in that situation. Those are the eyes you're going to see it through. Do I want to see people as inherently being full of potential that I could somehow affect peace, happiness, joy in the world around me in a situation where previously that's not what was happening, right? Or am I going to look out there and instantly say, these people don't deserve love. I'm not even going to deal with them because that's not my role. So your choice and the paradigm you're coming from is shaping everything. We think we see something in particular, but in reality, we have formulated that before we even got to that, situation, and we're sure that we know exactly what's going on before we even got there. This is just the way the brain wants to work too, to make it easier for us to get through situations. We don't have to completely relive it as if we were a child again. We already know what that's like, right? Or so we think. But because we have a history with seeing similar things, we're going to formulate this thing in our head and give it all kinds of meaning that it probably doesn't have based on how we see ourselves, right? So I'll give you that closing affirmation just one more time. My eyes will see what I desire today. Thank you for joining me. Hope you found that interesting. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Join us next time as we come together to uplift, enlighten, and ascend. Bye now.